everyone. Today, although let me park first. Today we are going to finish the May and June book haul because it's pretty long and I had to divide it in 3 parts. But in case you don't know me, hi, my name is Clara and I'm the owner of the Ink Path, where I talk about books in English and in Spanish. I place everything, all the sections are placed in different playlists according to the language, and you can select which kind of video do you want to watch. Obviously you're watching an English speaking video. And today, as I said, we're going to finish the big book haul that I did in May and June. As I said in the previous videos, this is a very big book haul because in Spain during the end of May and the beginning of June, during three weeks I think, is the last week of May and the 2 following ones of June, we have a very big book fair in the capital of the city, and I normally go a lot when that happens. And obviously if I go a lot, I tend to buy a lot of books. In this last section of the proper book haul, what I'm going to do is to show you the books that I bought but that were kind of a surprise or were out of what I thought I was going to buy. This is Enigmas by Beatriz Martín Vidal. This is a book about, I'm not quite sure if you can actually see properly, so I'm going to move a little bit closer to the table and the camera. This is a book that explores fairy tales and through illustrations and a little bit of text. So in here the author explores different fairy tales. Some we actually know, like Snow White. This is her version of Snow White. And what she does is, using a little bit of text, expose different kind of questions that are left after reading the original fairy tale. So instead of having the original fairy tale along the beautiful illustrations that she actually makes, that, for example, this one, you are only left with the questions like, we know the ending. What happened after the ending? And it's a very, very thin book that it's mainly planned to explore the fairy tale world through the illustrations of this illustrator. And I found it in a stall, in a stand of the publishing company that published this, but I've never heard of it. And it's the book that called my attention. You know that I love fairy tales and fairy tales interpretations, and I find this beauty to be one that I had to have within my illustration kind of segment of the library, of my own personal library. And I will show you the interior when I actually do the review, that I hope is actually pretty soon. Oops. After that, I've been checking books that I was planning on buying. There are some that I actually found through YouTube, and I was very glad that I actually got it. And there are some others that I wasn't planning on finding, and I really wanted to pick one of those. We're going to start with the books of that kind of sort that are actually from the same publishing company. The first one is this one over here. This is a tiny book called Chérie by Colette. I don't know if you know it, but a few months ago I watched a movie called Colette about the life of this French author that was very groundbreaking in France, I think, during the 18th century and the beginning of the 20th century, and I really love it. Colette was known because when she married the first time, her husband was actually a writer, but he had a lot of ghostwriters that wrote for him, and he got the benefit of those books. And when he was a little bit in kind of not gaining so much profit, he discovered that Colette had a lot of stories to tell, and she was quite good with the pen, actually. And she wrote a collection of books called Claudine, about a young girl, a kind of young girl, and her adventures first in school and then later on in her life. The thing is that there's a point in which Colette wants to regain the authority or the recognition of writing those books, but because her husband actually got to be the author, the published author of those stories, she had to fight for having the authorship of those stories. And I couldn't find the Claudine novels, but I found this. In Cherie, Colette explores, I think, an erotic, more kind of plot, and she tells the story of a mature woman that starts having an affair with a young man that she calls Cherie, and what happens when that kind of affair unfolds. Of the same publishing company, though, I decided to pick, although I didn't buy it in the publishing company store, I decided to pick a biography, which is not a genre that I actually go a lot for. And I decided to pick because my one of my family members bought it for me. It was like a present. I decided to pick Stefan Zweig's biography of Mary of Stuart. Mary of Stuart, of what I know, she was a Scottish queen, a Scottish queen that married Francis of France, I believe, and she had a really big confrontation with Elizabeth I, which came from the Tudor house. So this is an interesting story for me because I first knew from Mary Stuart by the TV show Reign. I wanted to read more about this queen. So from the books I wanted to actually pick up for myself, I decided to continue on with the Grishaverse. Last summer, I think, I read Shadow and Bone, which is the first installment in the original Grisha trilogy by Lee Verdugo. This is the sequel. This is Siege and Storm, I think it's called. We call it Asedio y Tormenta, sorry. And I remember that I loved the first installment in the trilogy, and because I know there's going to be like a kind of Netflix series of some sorts, I really want to pick this up and continue on with the series. Probably I will reread the first one to have it fresh when I want to start this one. And also, from the great world of BookTube, I know this graphic novel. This is the Spanish edition of Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Rosemary Valero O'Connell and Mariko Tamaki. I don't know much about this book other than that Mercedes from the channel Mercedes Bookish Museums show it in one of her latest book hauls, and I love the plot. This is the story of Freddie, who is in love with Laura Dean, who, as you can tell from the title, still gives her a little bit of a nightmare regarding her relationship. I love the kind of drawing style and the color palette chose for this. As far as I know, this deals with first relationships and toxic relationships and how you deal with that matters in high school. I don't know what has graphic novels regarding contemporary issues that normally work better for me than the proper contemporary novels. this is all that I wanted to show you for today. I know there's a lot of books. I don't know actually where I'm going to place them, but there's a lot of books that I want to read from here, and I want to read them very, very soon. I hope you really like my third installment in this weird book haul trilogy, and I hope that you can tell me if you have read any of the books, which one do you like the most, and why do you think I should read it first. But I would love to know what you thought of the books that I bought. And of course, if you have bought or take from the library any new books that you want to read, or that books that are new to you but you love to read, let me know in the comment section down below. I leave all my social media and everything down below, so you just have to do click the like and subscribe if you want, and we'll see each other next week, okay? Bye!